Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. Welcome to our discussion of the Industry Season 4 finale. Let's do our round of introductions and dive in.
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi, I'm Aubrey.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kate. This episode is entitled Both and was, of course, written by Mickey Down and Conrad Kay, directed by them as well, and the DP is Federico Sesca. So, what did you guys think? So excited waiting for this show last night?
Yeah, the first time watching it, I wasn't really sure
Yeah.
because the whole season really leaned into adding that thriller genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of trailed off in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a bit of a momentum
Plateau.
decline.
Yeah.
But after watching it a second time, I think I kind of found it satisfying and also very depressing.
It was so depressing, man.
Yeah.
I was so depressed.
Yeah. I think it did what it needed to do to end the season. But there was so much energy, the momentum of the energy that went through the whole season regarding Whitney and Tender and everything, that when that finally was on the decline and Whitney was mostly out of the picture, that energy went away, which I guess since the season was coming to an end, that was necessary.
Mhm.
But I missed it.
Yeah.
But I did my second watch was better than the first because I knew what to expect and I felt more, I guess, satisfied with how some of the characters' stories were concluding, like they were kind of going where they needed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously mostly the Yaz storyline that just had me horrified and depressed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions unanswered. I really liked it, but like the whole Russian
Right.
situation, just I felt like we were going to get a little bit more about that. I thought
Yeah.
we'd get a little bit more from, what Haley's motives are.
Yeah.
But I do really like how they ended, obviously, Harper's arc this season.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked Harper a lot.
She kind of came out on top.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, but Yaz, heartbreaking. And then obviously, I actually liked Whitney's arc. I thought he
Mhm.
kind of won for himself. He
Right.
just was able to escape. And
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, obviously, next season. Very excited. It's the final season next season, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That they've announced. So still lots that can happen. I hope Max is back. Henry seems to have almost maybe escaped somewhat unscathed, but we'll see.
yeah, I was pleased to see he seemed like he found comfort in his situation.
Yeah.
It wasn't dark. And I wonder if we're gonna see him again.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
hope we don't. I hope he like Roberts himself off.
Yeah, I think that's a good ending for him,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pathetic ending, but it is a good ending. Yeah, it makes sense for his character.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's the absolute best case scenario ending for him.
Hmm.
I mean, house arrest, he lives in a mansion. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
He's fishing.
Singing that song. Yeah. Well, and he was happy. I mean, we'll get there. But when he took the lithium, I assumed he was going to be like a neutral face, like not happy, not enjoying life, like he had said before.
But it's working.
Right. But he was very happy with the fish.
Yeah, he laughed and smiled. I did feel really bad for him this episode. Just felt like, ugh.
Yeah. I think I just like had enough watching him be tortured and miserable. So I hope that maybe although I love Kit Harington, obviously, I'd be okay with him ending this character.
But I was glad that, Whitney survived to do whatever another day. I mean, who knows where
Yeah.
he ended up. And I like the mystery around that.
Philippines, China.
Yeah.
All these places they mentioned he stopped through. Who knows where he is?
And they're hunting for him. So it's interesting to me that he's probably both being hunted by the official authorities, but probably also the Russian,
Right.
whatever, who's
More threateningly by Russia. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the scarier one.
Right. I would like to have learned more about his backstory, like how involved he got, how much it was under his control versus he's just in too deep and he has to go along with.
Yeah, how did that happen?
I'm not saying I don't think he's a good guy. I don't, but I would like to have more information about how it all came about,
But we did learn that it was more complicated than him being at the top, pulling the strings and on everybody else. Like when we were piling up the bodies, saying that it's all in his wake, like the actual dead bodies, I don't think were his.
Right.
I think that was the Russian connection.
Yeah, I think he was, because he also said, like, don't kill Tony. I'm sure even getting Jonah out was quite possibly a way to, like, save him. you know?
Right.
Yep.
There's lots of ways you can look at each thing. I still want to know what happened to his other assistant because
I know. I was going to say that.
we know
Yeah.
she disappeared because even the agency people they'd never seen her again. What happened?
Yeah.
She's dead for sure.
And did he know or not? I'm like, that one bugs me.
I assume the Russians killed her.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did want to find out officially since it was discussed so early on.
Yeah.
Yep. Ferdinand could have made a little remark,
Yeah.
coded remark to
Right.
reveal what had happened or something. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through it scene by scene. So we pick up with Jennifer Bevan on a political show processing the events of the last episode and the consequential political uproar. Lisa Dern was indeed the scapegoat, but the ripples remain, and the opposing parties are, of course, trying to take Jennifer down with her. But for the time being, anyway, she's still afloat. Sebastian Stefanowicz, that is a mouthful, is trying to take advantage of this moment to insert himself into the conversation. Him, and what we learn more throughout the episode, are his extremist right-wing beliefs. There's a montage as Bevan reads a statement she's prepared. Bevan ends her speech acknowledging her many constituents who lost their money to this deal. We must make financial amends to every unwitting member of the public that placed money in the very thing that we sanctified. And from there, it will be a time for imagination and confrontation. I find that thrilling. I don't know. If I had lost a significant amount of the money that I had to live on as a normal person in society, I think I would take offense at her use of the word thrilling here. It does not seem like an appropriate word.
Yeah. I still feel like I'm working against the current of understanding UK politics a little bit,
Yeah.
which I tried and I could have done more for sure to untangle that. But like sometimes what Sebastian was saying, I was thinking, what's his alignment? And I think maybe that's part of the point is that politicians are so wishy-washy with stuff like that because they'll just go with whatever is going to make them appeal to the most people in the moment. But like I just kept in the scene, I just kept thinking like, what is he saying really?
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is also the point because just say a bunch of words and it sounds kind of good and makes people
Right, that's like Jennifer's whole excuse for going along with Tinder.
right. I didn't fully clock how kind of fucked up his views were until obviously the dinner scene later with the investors.
Yeah. Who he's aligning himself with.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought several things were interesting as she was giving her statement. First of all, regarding her final statement about, well, not her final, but when she said, we must make financial amends to every unwitting member of the public that placed money in the very thing that we sanctified. I just thought it was interesting how the term unwitting is used to describe those who were ultimately fooled by Whitney, which just gave me a chuckle. And she seemed to like the way that they were doing the montage with her statement. The words she was saying seemed to align nicely with the person that you're seeing in that. Like the montage of Tender as they're packing up or they're doing the investigation of Tender. She's talking about the lessons of Tender. And then when Ferdinand is on the screen, she mentions criminally minded anomalies. And then when Harper is typing, she says it's the hyper real and logical endpoint for what the market state loves, which aligns with Harper. Then there was a close-up on Whitney putting his disguise on. We must start acknowledging capitalism is as extractive as it is creative, which just the fact that he was putting on a disguise seemed creative to me. And then Tony Day is being escorted into custody, and she says the market apparatus will always find its useful scapegoat. And then Yaz comes home and Bevan says, I am complicit. I sat in meetings with men and women so impressed by their technocratic effect and words that I swallowed both as moral neutrality, which was exactly Yaz is guilty of that too. And she's also looking in the mirror at that, which I also thought there was an extra layer there. And then Henry comes home and Bevan says, it's become my job to be seduced and lobbied and falsely loved, which I thought described exactly how Whitney treated and manipulated Henry. And just I had a thought as Henry was going home and the gates open for him. For a second, I thought they might not let him back in, like they might keep the gates locked, but nope, let him back in.
Yeah, that's very clever. They're good with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With the tonal matching of, 2 or 3 layers at the same time. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I liked what Bevan had to say about, what did she say, Rachel? You just repeated her line, how she felt like morally, she got like tricked by them, essentially. And she was open about that because I know last episode she seemed confused on how to go about publicly because she was involved with them. So it looks like she chose the honest route.
Was it the part where I sat in meetings with men and women so impressed by their technocratic effect in words that I swallowed both as moral neutrality?
Yeah, I really liked that line. I thought
Yeah.
that was, I don't know.
Admitting her naivety.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
she's not, she's admitting that she was taken in by them.
she chose the right path to go, I think, on how to discuss her part in this.
Yeah.
I think she's owning up to being complicit in a way that, did Yaz actually do that? I feel like she did not. She exited her marriage with Henry. I don't feel like she was ever brought in for questioning the way that he was, even though
No.
she was involved with the
No,
business as well.
Not at all.
she blamed it all on Henry or not
Yeah.
on Henry, on Whitney, essentially. She said they were tricked, they were fooled. That was that.
Pieced out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I liked how Bevan
me too.
thought that was nice.
Yeah, same. Going off what you were saying earlier, Allie, I did miss Ferdinand a bit because he's such like a great villain character for the season. And
Hmm.
I don't think we've mentioned him by name, but Nico Rogner is the actor's name, and he killed that role. I thought he did
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good in being that.
So much mystery around him. Like, we didn't know if he was anything important in the very beginning. It was
Mhm.
more like, what is he doing here?
He
Yeah.
was just like a random guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. The subtlety of the threats early on, and yeah, he played that perfectly.
Like, if you think all the way back to that meeting with Siren, when they're like, who is this guy? Who are you? And Whitney's like, this is Ferdinand. But he even says that he's a non-exec. So it's like, well, who is he then? Who is he to you? Who is he to Tender? Why is he in this room with us?
Right.
Hmm.
And it posed the questions, but we don't really learn till much deeper in the season that he's like really like the one in control of what's going on in Whitney. And he had a much more sinister involvement than we realized.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, he did a good job, that actor.
Mhm.
Also in that scene, there was a minute when Henry had returned home, and this was after we saw Whitney applying his beard. Anyway, you just see Henry from the back outside his gate, and I was thinking, Mr. Ripley style, how cool it would be if the camera panned to his front and he was actually Whitney in disguise. But alas, it was actually just Henry.
Oh man.
That disguise reveal was really funny.
Yeah.
It was just like he looked so different.
I have some practical questions about the disguise, actually.
What are they?
I would love to hear them.
Like, why is the main question. Like, I like that he's matching the picture from his passport or whatever,
Yeah.
Sort of.
but he only does it when he's hiding out in the hotel, and then he shows up on the plane fully fresh-faced.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I was glad to see him fresh-faced, but also like, why did we bother? Just like you said, like,
Just for us to watch, just for fun.
yeah.
And I was thinking about that. I think because he decided he was going to try to bring Henry in, he was going to go a different route with it, and then that failed. So I think that's why he took the disguise off, because he was like, well, I'm going to try to go a different route with Henry.
I want to appear as good as possible for Henry
Yeah.
to try to lure him in.
All I know is that when we finally got the close-up or the full face of him in the disguise, it just made me think of Forrest Gump. The long hair, the baseball cap, the beard. I was like, oh my God, that's giving Forrest Gump so hard.
He looked like the character he played, Agora. Is that the movie?
Yeah, I had the same thought. Yeah.
He looked like that. Yeah, it reminded me of that.
I mean, I guess it could also be because he's trying to hide out when he's in the hotel, and when he gets on the plane, he's with people that he's obviously paid to do this for him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he doesn't really need to be in the disguise, and maybe wouldn't even want to when he's with them.
Mhm.
But then when he lands, he's got the Lithuanian passport that looks like this guy.
Right.
So is he going to put the disguise on again on the flight? I don't know.
I guess so.
That's a good question.
Seems like a lot of work.
It must be uncomfortable to wear all the time.
For sure.
Mhm.
Glue on your face? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't blame him for wanting it to be off, but I just got the impression that he decided to do he was gonna be disguised and just be on the run, but then he was like, I'm gonna rope Henry in on this.
The only thing about that to me, though, is that he knew that the money was in the house.
That's true.
So he knew he needed that money to make the final payment. So he had to have gotten Henry to bring it to him, right? Like that had to have been a plan.
Yeah.
Or they weren't going to take him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably just didn't want to look bizarre in front of Henry.
Right.
He has an attraction to him.
Right.
That's kind of what I thought too.
We'll go with that, I think. I can accept that. Inside the house, Henry confronts Yaz, who is very agreeable at first. She agrees that this is not a partnership, that she didn't tell him about the article she should have. But her motivation in admitting that is not what he's hoping for, despite her soft tone and delivery. I don't love you, she says on repeat. I want a divorce. Henry's response that they're Catholic for fuck's sake entertained me very much. They're very devout Catholics.
Yeah, that's the line, not the glory hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
The Catholic thing was such brand new information. I was like, since when is this a thing?
I know. You are.
It only matters when he's begging for her not to get the divorce.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He didn't bring up the prenup, which maybe he's already burned. Like, there seem to be clauses that he's already violated.
Well, yeah, the infidelity they've got on tape.
Well, and I think they don't have any more money because he put it all in the stock.
Yes, right. So it doesn't even matter. Yeah, you're right.
True.
Which is insane. Oh my God, he's so dumb. But whatever.
Right after that, though, is when he says, "You can't leave me like this." And Ya says, "Of course I can."
Yeah, and the way she says it.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is right before when he says that, "You can't leave me like this," she responds in a tender way, like she holds his face and then says, "Of course I can."
Right.
It's just the opposite.
Her tone of voice is
Yeah.
such a contrast to what she's saying.
Mhm.
His expression shift right there was really good too. Like he had this shift in his look of like, I'm really upset to like a little shocked, but then he just moved on and started talking about the future and the kids and groveling with ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm.
These future kids that apparently they were planning that she doesn't want.
Yeah.
Was horrified by.
Uh-huh.
I wondered if she was just putting on an act. I mean, she obviously did seem sad and she felt terribly. But then when she said, like, of course I can, I thought, this seems like she's acting a bit. I also really liked how that was shot at the beginning of her, like, sitting on the bench and him standing in the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, shot past his legs.
Yeah.
And it, like, just was kind of a cool angle. I really appreciated that moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know where the run in her stocking went, because isn't this the exact morning after she went clubbing with Harper? Because Harper was still in her clubbing clothes and Yaz is coming home. And she had this huge run in her stocking when at the very last shot of her and Harper on the ground after they went to the club.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I thought it was that morning too, but
Maybe it shows the difference between her and Harper. Harper's like still in her clothes, getting work done.
And maybe Yaz had time to change.
Yaz is going and changing and showering and dilly-dallying.
Trying to look more put together or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then in the next scene, Quavana says, "H, you smell like the club." And she says, "Checks out." And I love her delivery of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
The trio that is Stern Tao crowds around and watches as the market opens and tender stock drops through the floor. Quabana updates the Eric whiteboard. They're up 110 million. A fact that elicits screams and excitement from Sweet Pea and Quabana and a stunned silence from Harper until they snap her out of it and tell her to close the position already. She calls Kenny and instructs him to close their trade slowly so as not to spook the market further, and leaves Sweet Pea and Quabana to order celebratory room service. Sweet Pea orders caviar on McDonald's fries, but somehow forgets the champagne. And Harper goes to the bedroom and leaves a very sad message for Eric. She seems to really miss him, such that she's holding back tears even in this incredibly exciting moment for her.
Yeah. I was a little bit confused about this. I feel like Kate can clarify because of her financial knowledge, but like Harper says the violence of the move is going to make people panic. So is she just saying because they're going to suddenly cash out and make all this money, it's going to look like, how's that looking bad? Tinder is fucked.
I agree with the fact that this is a short that is gone to nothing already. That I don't understand that either. But yes, that's any drastic market movements is going to alarm investors and people in the market. But I didn't understand why it would matter in this short.
Maybe it's partly just to not have a ton of attention on what she's done.
Right. Avoid, I have no other answer. I actually asked Dave that too because I was also confused. He's like, no. I mean, she's definitely instructing him to do it slowly. That's what she's saying. But I was actually very happy with her though, because every other like season, every other situation, she never exits the trade when she's in the money, right?
Yeah.
She'd lost so much money. I can't remember the details of season 2, but anyway, she never does it. And so this time when they were like, close the trade and she actually did it, I was truly shocked that she's
learned.
Right. She does seem to have actually changed.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure the very next episode she'll like flop right back. But for the moment, she's the only character that I've seen that I really feel like is making an effort to be a better person, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, pretty significant growth for her.
It's good growth. Yeah.
Yeah, because when Sweet Pea said, close it, there was 1 second, I feel like, where my heart stopped, where I was like, she's not going to do it. She's going to keep,
Yeah, right.
she's going to wait.
Exactly.
Same.
Me too.
Right.
Just gonna say that. I was thinking, like, is she feeling guilt right now? But then I realized, oh, this is just her, sort of mourning
Yeah.
Eric and what she started with him.
I think also she just is not feeling the high to the level that she expected to feel from this win.
Yeah.
Because this is never going to fulfill that part of her.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I was questioning it too. I just thought she was in shock, maybe, or just stunned that this finally paid off, that it really worked, that she finally did something that she actually won this time. Because, I mean, she saw this one through and it worked. And that, how often has that really happened for her? But I like what you just said, Aubrey. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I think they're highlighting that contrast with her going into the bedroom alone and calling Eric, because it's like, I just won big. And yet my concern is about this personal relationship with someone that has been broken.
Yeah.
So even with this amazing cash flow that she's just had, she can't stop thinking about the emotional thing that was lost, you know?
Yeah. I think also it's a bit of a drug for her, just the chase of it. And then maybe once she succeeds with it,
That makes sense.
it's like, it's not really, like you said, fulfilling her in the way that it should.
Right. And what now?
That's why she's so good at this, is because it's like a drug for her. It's like she needs the chase of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to read Sweet Pea's entire order because it was so hilarious to me.
Yeah, do it.
Well, I took it down as well. It was great.
Definitely rewinded that.
We're starting off strong with caviar. French toast. Okay, still it's kind of wild, weird combination, but all right.
Right.
Pringles.
Yep.
Casamigos, which I don't even know what those are. That's
Casamigos is a really good tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila, yeah.
Oh.
It's one of my favorites.
Is it the one that George Clooney owns, or?
Casamigos is a premium tequila brand co-founded in 2013 by George Clooney, Randy Gerber, and Mike Meldman. Originally intended for personal consumption rather than public sale. And it's really good. It has this vanilla-y flavor to it.
I'm so glad that you knew this, because that actually makes this order even crazier, because she goes from caviar, steps down to the French toast, steps all the way down to the Pringles, and then leaps back up to the Casamigos.
Well, but here's the thing. Casamigos isn't that expensive to order. So there's even better quality. So that's she had an unusual order.
Something she likes.
Well, she's not used to being rich. She's all over the place.
Yeah.
She's like,
it's so random.
It's just, this is what I'm firing off, what I want right now.
Right. And then when she orders the McDonald's chips and she says, when you bring them back, can you actually just put the caviar on them?
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that she wanted someone to go out and get them.
Yes. No, switch to your Uber Eats app for that. You don't just demand the reception. I don't know. It's very funny.
That was the one moment, out of that order, aside from the caviar, that it's like, oh, here's where the money is. You're asking somebody to go out and step out of their job and get you fries.
You're tipping the hell out of that person after they do that for you.
Yeah.
And then when Quabbin is like, did you order any Dom? And she says, I'll do it on the next round. This is just round one.
Right.
Yeah. So funny.
The whole thing was great.
I also loved the background dialogue with Quabena when he says his religious affiliation is going to be big fucking coats.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Which is just another perfect layer to that. I'm just going to invest in big coats.
The layered dialogue on this is always out of the park. Great.
I know. I always have to check the subtitles on that.
I love the background chatter. It's always good.
Right. The wide shot of Harper sitting on the bed looking just small and lonely after she calls Eric.
Yeah.
Good button for the scene.
I think that's a lot of it is she's lonely. And she's mentioned that a few times this season. And she says it later to Quabina that people who she thought were fixed in her life are now, she's losing them or they're disappearing. And I think that helps her final arc, which we're not there yet. But I felt like she was in a better place at the very end because I think she's finally starting to allow herself to connect to other people and the right people.
Right. The loneliness was kind of a theme for her throughout the season. So, yeah.
And I think what Aubrey said about the money, this huge payoff, wasn't enough to fill that hole, which is still the loneliness that's still there. And she needed to find another outlet for that.
Right. Money can only buy so much.
Right.
I wondered if we were going to get a small Eric cameo. Like, I know they even said that a few episodes was the last.
We sort of did, but not the one we wanted.
No, that's true.
Gross.
But I thought maybe they were psyching us out. Maybe he was going to come back, but
no.
Yeah,
I miss Leung. I wonder if he'll be in the next season. Did they say?
I don't think they've announced cast for the
No,
next
they
season.
haven't.
No, they haven't. But whatever you heard that he wouldn't be in these final episodes.
I think just assumptions that the way that he walked off into the sunset sort of gave the impression that was going to be the end of a story, but I guess anything could happen between now and the final season. Maybe they'll change their mind and bring him back in.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a picture of him like last day or something in the hotel with Harper, but I don't know if they knew they were getting renewed at that point. So
I don't think so.
Last day for season 4,
Right. Yeah, I think that they assumed just in case that everything was sort of the last day. Because I don't think they were for sure that they were going to get a final season.
I think it's pretty brilliant when a show can do a final episode. I mean, we're kind of zooming out again, but like a final episode of a season that leaves room for something else to happen, but also would be satisfying as the end.
Right.
If they don't.
Yeah.
Like season 4 of Handmaid's Tale.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should have been it.
That could have been a good ending.
Absolutely perfect. It is the ending.
Yeah.
The rest didn't happen.
That's right.
The rest was a fever dream.
There is no season 5.
Nope.
Never heard of it.
5 and 6? What?
And 6?
Nope.
Ugh. The Guardian's cover story is all about what an utter failure Henry is, twice over now. He's looking at it when Whitney calls him from a blocked number and instructs him to fetch the money Whitney had hidden in Yaz and Henry's bedroom and go on the run with him. Otherwise, Henry's going to be the fall guy since he's the only guy that they'll be able to find. Whitney tells him about the Russians' involvement, that yes, of course he's in danger. They're probably on their way to his house right now. And Henry debates turning himself in the hopes that if he goes public, they won't be able to touch him. But Whitney retorts with the obvious. People die suspiciously in prison all the time. And so the scene ends with Henry screaming into the ether silently so as not to wake his soon-to-be ex-wife. I've never seen anyone silently scream before. That was a first.
Well, he silently screamed and the subtitles still said fuck.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that too. That was great.
The silent scream was so good.
It was so good.
It was just like
really good.
His hands were shaking.
He was shaking.
But it was also really funny. It was just like a funny moment.
Right.
The show is so good at injecting humor into those moments. Like, it's just peppered in a perfect way.
Yeah.
Well, and it shows that he has some sort of like, he's thinking about someone else. He's like, oh, I don't want to wake her up, so I'm not going to scream.
Yeah.
Like, he could have just screamed. Like, whatever. It's, he really didn't care.
Right.
They're divorcing, like, whatever. But he was just, he made a point to silent scream, and I just thought it was really funny.
It felt even more tense that he did it that way, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
sure.
his acting in this entire call, like, in his robe, is just so good. Like, his whole freak out and just watching him uncover each piece of this and hear each line of what Whitney's saying. And it's just like, his reactions are really good. He's great.
I think Kit Harington was so good in this season. Just incredible acting.
Yeah.
He was.
He's a great actor. I've never seen him in anything else, so this is my first experience with him, and I just think he's really good.
Yeah, I saw him in all of Game of Thrones, but I feel like there's something just leveling up here in this show about his acting and the complexity of the character, too.
I agree, and I loved him in Game of Thrones, but this is more impressive.
So regarding this phone call, I mean, we know that Whitney is a master manipulator. He's definitely using the situation to manipulate Henry with the fear of the situation. But I was going back and forth because is anything he's saying not true? There is a Russian component that could possibly come after Henry.
Which I love because it sounds so frantic and crazy.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a ravings of a crazy person. but Henry like buys it and then later says it to Otto. Like when we get to that scene, I thought that was really funny that he sounds like he's saying it in the same way that Whitney sounded on this call to me. Cause I was just like, if you just suddenly drop this sounds crazy.
It does. The way and the scene you're talking about with Otto where he's like slowly leaning forward and talking about the secret Russian intelligence component to this. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But and Whitney's doing that here, saying, for all I know, they could be on their way to your house right now.
Yeah.
Building up, like there is a danger, but he's just building up on that, like it could be seconds from now, like.
Yeah. I think it's all real, obviously, because we know it's real, but it's like the way that he's presenting this information is the manipulation, not necessarily the lying. Because it's like, I'm trying to appeal to, I'm trying to freak you out, basically, so that you have no choice but to do what I'm saying.
Right. And it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's making it imminent instead of a possibility. Like, yeah, there's maybe a possibility, but he's definitely making it sound like they're about to like knock on his door and put a bullet in his brain or something.
Yeah. Whitney is still using way more words than necessary in every sentence and saying things in like almost a riddle format. Like he says, our only power is in retreat.
Yeah.
And Henry is like, you mean we're running? Like, what the fuck are you trying to say, dude? Like, just say it.
Say what you're saying.
Just say a real sentence, like a real human being.
Right.
I did like the Signal reference. I'll text you via Signal. I'm like, yeah, I use that app. I like that app.
Same.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that.
He's also hiding in a Best Western, which I thought was kind of interesting because it's like a very
Best Western premiere.
True, but it's a very like basic hotel.
Yeah.
I like the detail of him running his fingers along the furniture and collecting the dust, like, just pointing out this is not up to his standards, maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It was definitely like a serial killer vibe.
Yes.
In there.
Definitely was.
I mean, it was shot too, yeah.
Next, we see Whitney on a plane where he usually has been of late this season. This time, though, the pilots want their cash in hand before they take off, and the only way they're getting that is if Henry actually shows up. Whitney insists he's on his way, though I doubt he feels quite that confident, and closes his eyes. But when he opens them, Henry has indeed arrived to do Whitney's bidding once more. But when Whitney hands Henry his new fake Lithuanian passport, Henry quite literally throws it back in his face. Even slices his face with it. That was a nice touch. And finally, Henry starts to directly call Whitney out on the tactics he's been successfully using with everyone he encounters all season long. Whenever anyone accuses Whitney of anything, he feigns ignorance, redirects. Henry explains it perfectly. You change the subject because you can't be the subject. You can't bear the scrutiny. Henry even recognizes that now Whitney is not protecting him, as he claims. He's only taking him along as someone he can burn instead of himself. And then Henry gets all aristocratic douchebag on him, but it's still very fun to see Whitney lose for once. I paraphrase, but Henry screams at Whitney that he was born a low-life loser, is still a low-life loser, and will always be a low-life loser. They actually physically tussle briefly until Henry finishes strong with, "Eat my shit, peasant. I'd rather die as me than run as you." I was very entertained by this.
Yep.
Whole scene.
This was fun to watch.
Agreed.
My first question, however, is, did Whitney and Nick go to the same guy for their fake passports?
I would like to know.
I don't remember his. Did it look the same?
We never got to see it.
We got to see it.
Oh.
But why have we doomed Max to a constant cycle of ending a show by getting fake passports for someone, and then his last scene is on a plane?
And the person doesn't go with him.
Oh.
It's like we're all in hell and we're just repeating the same ending.
I know.
That's very funny.
When you pointed that out yesterday, Aubrey, my mind was blown. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just the plane. It's not just the fake passports. It's both.
Right.
And.
Both and.
Oh, that's very depressing.
Well, and this is the one, I mean, on this show, Whitney actually was a bad guy, and he survives the plane. I mean, nothing happens to his plane.
Yeah, what is this? This is torture. And we even got a little hint of him at the end, showing that there is some hope for him.
Yeah, I missed that first time around.
I hope that's what it means.
Something we were looking for last Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, they should have put a subliminal shot of him in the final,
I would have been happy.
in the credits of Handmaids. Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything you were saying, Kate, about Henry's freak out to Whitney, just slap after slap after slap,
Yeah.
some of which were great, and some of which, like you just said, turned into I'm better than you, like, you know. And the line that really got me was when he says, fuck your fucking poor boy civilian document. Because then I was like, there's this moment where he's looking at the passports and he's looking at the Lithuanian one, and then he looks at his British one. And the British one has, you know, the Sir Henry Muck, like his whole title and stuff on it. And I'm like, is he literally bailing on this because he doesn't want to
He
be
doesn't have his title.
a normal person?
Yeah.
Like he just can't bear to lose the title and the, you know, the stance that he has in his class, you know?
That's a good point. Probably.
I think it's probably a huge part of it, which
Part
is
of it.
insane.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I do think he did the right thing
Yeah.
in bailing, but it is insane, his reasoning.
Yeah, because he can come out on top because he's, you know.
Oh, right. He'd get away with it.
He is who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whitney absolutely would do jail time forever, maybe. I mean, he didn't have the get out of jail free card that Henry obviously had.
Yeah, it's complicated because obviously Whitney is the one who actually masterminded everything, and Henry was a bit of a victim of that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to parse that because at the same time, Henry is in a position with his privilege to be able to get out from under stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yep.
Right. Like, I don't blame Henry for going off on him like that. I mean, it was deserved to some extent.
A long time coming.
Yeah, but also like how he brought it, like, eat my shit, you peasant, like bringing in these little, to me, it's like showing his true feelings about lower class or middle class.
Yeah, which he'd already done in episode, was it 6, when he made the comment about, oh, it's okay, a lot of my friends are middle class, and
Yeah.
just putting him in his place, like making sure that Whitney knows no matter what, they aren't equals. Like Henry is a higher status. And I think that is what he made sure to repeat over and over again to Whitney in this. It is the way to hurt Whitney the most because he knows Whitney longs to be seen as Henry's equal, and his goal is to achieve what Henry has. That's what his goal has always been, even if he's doing it in all the wrong ways. And the worst insult that he can give Whitney is to hold up a mirror and show Whitney he is no better than where he came from and what he's been running from his whole life and trying to overcome by any means necessary. So Henry calling Whit a peasant is like the worst insult in the world for him, to say you haven't achieved anything beyond that.
Yeah, I think it's also very realistic for an argument to start out with good points and then dissolve into just petty insults, because he starts getting worked up and then he's just like, you're nothing, you're a peasant. So it's like,
Yeah.
starts out strong and then just dissolves.
Devolve.
Yeah.
And gets physical.
Did find it interesting how he left the money, though. I mean, he brought the money and left it for him to use for the plane.
Yeah.
So he kind of threw him a bone in a way.
There were a couple little hints of like him not really totally wanting to fuck Whitney over. And also, I think, honestly, there's a part of it that's just like, just go away. I'm better without you. Like, I just want rid of you. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. And it's a punishment in itself, like Whitney having to be on the run and hiding and sleeping in Best Westerns and
just the worst of the worst.
He probably figured that's probably worse than jail.
There was also a good line that I thought was maybe a bit of a parallel to the scene with Henry and Yaz, where he says to Whitney, I'm not a partner, I'm an asset. And earlier when he walked in with Yaz, he said, this is not a partnership.
Right.
So it's like he just feels like everybody is using him, which is correct. And that parallel, calling both of them out on that when they've both been sort of his main, not mentors, but like the main people that are controlling him this season.
Support.
And he's like, you're not a partner, you're not a partner. Both of y'all just want to fuck me.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that Whitney made Henry a year older than he really is. Lithuanian passport.
On the Lithuanian passport.
It was like 1984, and then when he looked at his British passport, it was 1985, and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of
that's funny.
A little petty move to be like,
I aged you up.
I aged you a year. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the passport pictures were identical. So did he somehow find his actual passport to
Probably.
duplicate the picture?
Yeah, because it was in the house that he was renting too.
Probably through like the hiring process too.
Yeah.
In the hiring, yeah.
And yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting that we kind of said this, but like that Whitney was counting on this money from Henry
Right.
because the pilot was not even going to leave until it got there.
Right.
So what was he planning on doing if Henry didn't show up?
Yeah.
Good point.
He was fucked if he didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't have more cash around for this scenario. Although, also, you know what surprises me? When Ferdinand and the volume manager picked him up in the hotel last episode, they didn't take his passport. Like, I was very surprised that they didn't take his fake passport then.
That's a really good point. I also still am not clear on if it's fake. Like, I don't think we're supposed to know, but I was like, I know he made the fake for Henry,
Right.
but did he make the fake for Henry because he has access because he's Lithuanian or because he made a fake Lithuanian passport and he has a guy?
What evidence do we have that he is Lithuanian? I'm just honestly trying to remember.
No, we don't have any. We
We
don't have any
don't.
evidence either way, really. So I just think it's interesting to like consider
Yeah.
what is it, but we don't know.
I took it personally as it was a fake, but that's
Yeah.
it's a good point. I mean, it could have, I guess it's just not supposed to be that clear.
Mainly just interviews with Mickey and Conrad and Max that have kind of hinted at maybe we don't really know his real ethnicity or where he's from.
Right.
But I don't think there's any, I don't think you're supposed to know. So I don't know.
Well, when I was younger, certain states were easier to get fake driver's license from.
Yes. See, actually,
So I was briefly a resident of Delaware. Again, in Greenwich Village.
I was South Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, Allie, you were in my state for a second.
I know. Well, not, I mean, fake member. Yeah.
One of the most embarrassing things about this is when I went to get it, I must have done my math wrong. So it made me like 20 for a few more months instead of 21.
Whoops. So you had to wait.
Well, so then the first bar I went to, I was so confident that the guy was like looking at it and like you could tell he like, had a problem with the date, but I was so confident that he let me in. And then the second bar I went to, he was like, "No, look, do the math." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like,
I'm 21.
Telling you to do the math on your own birth date.
yeah.
Oh, that's really funny.
I know it's fake, but like do the math.
Luckily, he didn't take it away.
That is funny.
So embarrassing. Anyway, I just was like, I wonder if Lithuania is just an easier passport to make, but
Could be.
Google did not like me looking that up. Who knew that this is illegal and a serious crime in bold?
Wait, really?
Yes,
Oh my God.
Someone's at your door right now.
He
yes.
just got on a list somewhere.
I know. Podcast purposes,
One of us is going to jail before this is over.
obviously.
All the stuff about the pilot, like, oh, avoid Heathrow's controlled airspace. Like, he's just rambling on about how he's going to do all this. And Whitney's just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck, dude. Just do whatever you're paid to do.
Yeah.
Seriously, right.
Talking fast.
It's like the pilot was showing off.
I liked hearing his explanation. I was really
Yeah.
interested. I was like, oh, how is it going to? Okay, cool. Like, lay it out for me.
I'd be too
Uh-huh.
stressed. I would have been like Whitney. Like, I genuinely do not fucking care.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, I know. I cannot think about anything right now.
I was only interested because it didn't concern me. I probably would
Right.
have been the same way if I was in the plane.
Right. When Henry gets back to his house, there are press everywhere, and once inside, he rushes to embrace Yaz and seems to genuinely tell her how much he loves her, promises to change, before noticing all the police in the house. He is not under arrest yet, but he is taken into the station for a voluntary interview under caution. He holds his hands out for the cuffs, but they're not doing that. Not yet, anyway. He is taken to the police car, though, through the mob of press.
That shot of him holding his hands out for the cuffs.
I know, it was so cute.
He had like this little boy look to him.
Yeah. He's such a little boy in this
He
whole
is.
episode. There's so many like shots and moments where he just acts so childlike.
Mhm.
I bet he was a cute kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It even goes back to Whitney calling him a fucking child
Yeah.
it's accurate.
and him saying, "Shut up."
Do we think Yaz called the cops?
Seemed like maybe, or she let them in at least.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I think things were already in motion, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Yaz would have had to call them.
Well, they said in the last episode, and I remember because the name of the office was notable to me, the Serious Fraud Office or something to that effect. And they had said they started that in the last episode. So I think the ball was rolling and they would have been there anyway. But she definitely wasn't like defending him or giving him a heads up not to come home or anything.
Right. I did go back and try to see if you could see the cop car outside when he shows up at the house, but you can't. It's just too chaotic.
Right.
Yeah.
I did really like the way they cut to the shot of the footage from the, I don't know what you call that, security camera on the gate.
Mm-hmm.
When he's shouting,
yeah.
let me
in.
Let me in, or whatever he says. Yeah.
That was cool. Sebastian's watching the news in the lobby of Alexander's office building. The news is all about everyone looking for Whitney, of course. Yaz comes out to see Sebastian into Alexander's office. They want to get Alexander and his paper to back Sebastian's attempts to legitimize his independent party's grab for power during this moment of political instability. When Alexander asks why Sebastian doesn't just join the Conservative Party, Sebastian insists that the Conservative Party is already dead. Alexander demeans Sebastian's political party, quote unquote, as simply the cult of Stefanovich. But Alexander does seem to be considering taking this on as he starts strategizing. We need to distance your image from fringe, outright authoritarian or racial elements. Yaz can see that they're making progress with Alexander and assures that they can do that, polish the aesthetic without neutering the appeal. When Alexander leaves, Yaz more directly suggests Sebastian hold off on publicizing his wishes to abolish democracy. And then he tells her he thinks divorce is an affront to God. And therefore, I guess he thinks she is an affront to God.
This is where we had the 6-week time jump, too.
Yeah, manhunt continues for Tender's CFO after disappearance 6 weeks ago. It was on the news.
Yeah. And we also find out that he went, I think Ali said it earlier.
He went through the Philippines before boarding a flight to China.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually makes more sense now because we were a little like, why Lithuania? But China has no extradition treaty with the UK. So that's probably where his ultimate goal was, even though he had a Lithuanian passport. Like he doesn't, he's not necessarily going to Lithuania. He just had that.
Right.
I feel like Yaz has a crush on Stefanovich.
I
got that vibe a little too.
Yeah.
I just kind of wondered, he had a ring on his finger, but I mean, in this show, you never know.
And he doesn't believe in divorce.
Doesn't believe in divorce. Yeah, and I thought that was an interesting comment considering the whole, like, but we're Catholic when Henry said that, as if, like, that should mean anything to them.
I thought it was interesting that that came up at least twice. And I kept trying to come up with a term for that, just being very, I don't think sanctimonious is the right word, but kind of hinging on that moral superiority or that standing in judgment over her because she got a divorce and because of religious reasons. Sort of came out of nowhere. Like we don't normally, and I guess I understand it from Sebastian because clearly he's following this conservative political ideology, but it really seemed to come out of nowhere for Henry. But I think he was grasping at straws, like, but we're Catholic.
Right.
Also, it's like a modern thing. Many people get divorces, so it's just odd that so many people are mean too.
Well, these people are stuck in the past, right? All of these people really want to be stuck further in the past than they are. That's
they want to turn the clock back.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know what Stefanovich is all about, but I feel like it's a hypocrisy for him to, I don't know, if he's hanging out with Nazis.
For sure. But I also feel like there was this look at the end when right before he said, like didn't she ask, do you think it's an affront to God? And then he says yes or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when she asks him that, he has this like moment where he kind of looks like he's processing what she's saying and then decides to say yes. And I was wondering, is this just him posturing himself for this political stance that he's deciding to take from here? Because it seemed strange to me. Like there was something off about this whole scene.
Yeah.
About the way he was speaking and then what he was actually planning to do with Yaz. So it was almost like I'm adopting this idea, even though I may not actually feel this way or may not have any real feelings because I'm not a real person, you know?
Yeah.
And later on, he's leaving early to go with Haley or someone else, the party.
Right. That was a weird moment.
Well, Haley's there again later, but I thought when I was watching it, that's why he was leaving early. Anyway, it's all very hypocritical.
He just seemed distracted by her walking by while he's trying to talk about his son and needing to get back, right?
But I just thought that was a fake. But maybe you're right, because he did just like trip over his words, but he was perhaps being honest.
So with his politics, I'm thinking he's just aligning himself with who he has to ideologically in order to get where he wants to go, like a lot of politicians do. Maybe it doesn't really represent what he really thinks or feels, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do that, then you must not really have strong morals or, you know.
Right.
Anyways.
It's like Aaron Burr in Hamilton.
Yaz is sort of flip-flopping too because now that she's on the outs with Jennifer Bevan, now she's flipping to this other politician who she's backing, who's
Right.
on the other side of things.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit.
No.
She even said in episode whatever 2, I think, at the party, like, I've never voted.
Right? That's true. Even when her husband was running, she never voted.
Right. There was also a moment, I don't know if this means anything, where Alexander mentions something called the Orwell Scholarship, which I looked up, and I guess is a scholarship given to boys like in sixth form in the UK that are the first in their family to go to college or like slightly less privileged. So I wondered if that was a little bit of an immediate dig from Alexander in a similar way that Henry does with people like, you're beneath me because you had to use this scholarship.
Sounds like them. Stern Tao goes shopping for a new office space where Harper gives them both a sizable little bonus of 2 million quid and says she took the same. It's also in this vast empty space where she invites Kwabena to go to Paris with her as romantically as Harper is capable, under the excuse of Yaz's political fundraiser. Harper seems to imply that Yaz is struggling emotionally and Harper wants to be there for her friend, which is sweet if true, although she also suggests maybe they can find their next trade there. That's where she met Whitney, a party like this.
Yeah, you kind of said it, but she can't just ask him to go with her because she wants him there. She has to make it about the business. And
right.
Another example of her being unable to face the relationship.
Yeah.
That and also maybe being afraid he'll turn her down. So she kind of dances around it just in case he says no. And then it's like, well, yeah, of course. It's like, then she can easily exit out of the partial invite that she's floating for him.
Yeah, and like, let me give you another reason to do this so that you'll be more likely, practically to say yes to this.
I learned something new that quid and pound mean the same thing because I guess I always assumed that quid was a lower currency than pound, but it's like the equivalent of dollar and buck. It means the same thing in the US.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm obsessing over freaking dates. Sweet Pea's pay stub says 9/10/2026 in the future. She's going to get paid in September. But earlier, the passport, actually, Henry's passport said, the fake one said like 2/27/26 or something, which is essentially when this episode came out, like days before.
Yeah.
So I thought, did they alter it knowing that it was coming out this weekend to make it the same weekend that the episode aired? I don't know.
Funny.
Probably just a coincidence, but I think that's funny.
Is their timeline more in the future than ours?
Apparently, they're 6 weeks in the future.
Yeah, that's my guess, is that they're in the future.
When they time jumped.
Sweet Pea had a couple of just adorable moments in this scene, in her final scene, which was great. I could have made more selling pictures of my feet. Classic.
Yeah.
And then her rolling on the chair across the office.
That was adorable.
So great.
Yeah, that was cute.
I love that that's her last shot of the season, too. It's a good exit.
Perfect.
I hadn't even thought of that.
I thought it was funny that the realtor or whoever was showing the space was just in the corner just the whole time.
Yeah.
Just there in the corner. You could just see her in the background, just standing there.
Oh, I missed that.
Watching Sweet Pea roll around on the chair.
While they're talking about, like, here's your bonus of $2 million.
Yeah.
Realtor walks over. Can I have one, too?
Yeah, where's mine?
You said you're giving them out. We're all equal here.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have made it to the end of the season and still love Sweet Pea and Kwabena as characters.
And good for Harper that she didn't fuck this up with them
Yes.
in some way.
Yeah, a bit shocking.
That may be the first time I've seen her actually see partnerships go all the way through, other than Eric, but he extracted himself, and it's not because of Harper. So she kind of took it all the way to the end and didn't burn these relationships.
Yeah.
Good for her.
So proud of her.
Another sign of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually I remember in the scene where she goes with Sweet Pea to the guy's house that is working with Tinder from home.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, and Sweet Pea is like, basically saying, you better be hiring me and paying me. And Harper says, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because Harper has a horrible track record. She walked out on Petra and she walked out on, she has a reputation.
Yeah.
And Sweet Pea's like, I don't want to be the next in line of someone you're going to walk out on.
Right. And they make this verbal agreement. And I remember thinking, come on, Sweet Pea, get her to sign some documents. Like, this is not, she's going to fuck you. But then she didn't.
She did not.
So
Yeah.
that's great.
Good for Harper.
This has just been rare for Harper altogether.
She's figured out how to work with a team.
Yeah. Be a good person.
Well, and they're a good team.
Yeah.
They're both good at what they do, and they're not backstabby people.
Right.
So I think she's found some good people to work with.
This would never have happened for her without them.
Right.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, really, a lot hinges on the trip they took to Accra,
All of it.
Yeah, that was a lot.
and they both played parts in that.
I mean, how risky.
I mean, Sweet Pea literally got attacked,
Yeah.
and it could have been so much worse.
Jenny Bevan wants to inquire about the Tinder Russian rumors, so she heads straight to the top, to the Prime Minister's office, and his guy basically confirms her worst fears. Even worse, really, because he tells her to back the fuck off and leave it alone. So the Prime Minister is clearly aware of the Russian involvement. Straight from that meeting, she calls Henry, telling him it was all but confirmed at the Prime Minister's office, and suggests talking to Lord Mostyn about it next.
The two scenes I think are interesting between Jenny and actually I didn't get who she was speaking to when she brings up the Russian connection. Did you get who that was?
I think his name is Ricky Martin.
It is. That's why I
Really?
called him the
Oh.
Prime Minister's guy.
Oh.
It's felt too silly to call him Ricky Martin.
That's funny. Okay, so when she's talking to him, he tries to just deflect at first about this Russian involvement until he finally very heavily warns her, do not poke this particular bear. He clearly knows what she's talking about. And the same thing, well, I don't know if it's exactly the same with Henry talking to Otto, because Otto warns him in a way that I don't know if he knows for sure that the Russian involvement is true, but he knows an example of you don't want to draw attention to yourself with this particular information because, you could be set up the same way this other person I knew was set up with a possible murder that could be put off as a suicide. So I thought it was interesting that those two scenes ran parallel and they're both being warned, just do not even cross this line. Do not even try and pull this Russian component of this situation into, I don't know, just into the narrative. Just like leave it.
So you think that Mostyn is trying to protect him in the next scene?
I did. I thought he was trying to warn him off of, how did he put it?
Yeah, he's definitely trying to warn him off of it. I just felt like his motivation might be more malicious.
I got the protection-ish. I don't know if I would call it protection.
But looking out for Henry, not himself.
Looking out for Henry, not
Okay.
himself necessarily, but also like maybe he's had experience with it.
Right.
I mean, he said he had
Well, he had his story, whether it's true or not,
his
but
story, but like personal, I don't know. And then I also wondered if the guy that Bevan went and talked to had experience with it or was involved with it somehow. I don't know. It just all felt very.
the person Bevan talked to, I thought he knew what she was talking about.
Right. But the question is just motivation. Like, I feel like that guy for sure is just trying, like, they have whatever dirty things going on that involve this not being messed with.
Yeah, he says the thing about we just tolerate each other's
Right.
spies in different countries and, we just let them do
Right.
their thing.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. I felt like the other guy, I don't know what he would have involved with him, but I just don't trust anyone. So
No.
rather than assume he's actually protecting him, I assumed he also needs it not to be changed for some business reason or investigated.
Probably. I'm sure it's a bit of both.
Could be a little of both.
Yeah, both. Sure.
I do like that Jenny is trying to help Henny. Jenny and Henny.
Yeah, very familiar with him this season.
Henny. I do like that Jenny is trying to help Henry. Like they both got duped by people. Kind of what
Yeah.
Kate was saying in the last episode that Jenny had Yasmin, whether or not Yasmin was fully aware of what she was doing, she was manipulating her. And then Henry with Whitney. And now they're kind of like the two from the fallout of this that are working together.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like that as well.
Yeah.
We also find out that Henry was so hurt by what his uncle did with Yaz that he's not speaking to Alexander right now.
This is in the scene with Otto at the lunch, right? This is another moment where I felt like Henry was so childlike because his tone of voice when he said, yeah, well, he hurt me.
He hurt me.
Yeah.
I know. It was so sad. But yes, very childlike.
This is making me think about comments that Max Minghella has made in some of his interviews where Henry is very stunted. So I think that's very true, that he's stunted in this childlike sort of frozen in time. And maybe it goes all the way back to the trauma of his father's suicide.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I think that people have said that a lot, if you
Yeah.
experience like extreme trauma like that as a child, sometimes you're
you get stuck.
exactly emotional growth ends at age 12 or
I think we've seen many examples of that where he is completely stunted, as in this childlike.
He's stuck at that age.
Like stuck at the age where his dad killed himself.
at the age it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
I did find it very interesting tonal shift because Henry's saying this stuff about the Russian involvement, and Otto is like, "You sound like a lunatic."
Right.
And then 2 seconds later, he's telling the story about his friend potentially being murdered, and his voice gets low and he gets really dark about it. And then he pops out of it by being like, "Now let's have a little more claret."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was funny.
His whole way of shifting tone in this whole scene is
Mhm.
just brilliant to me.
Yeah.
Can I also say I'm so tired of these people saying old boy?
Old
I
boy.
know, they keep saying that.
Oh God.
Over and over, yeah.
So irritating.
But it's a good connection with Henry too, though, because I feel like the next line that Otto says, he's like, "This is the only dining room in London where I could succumb to old age before I get a," and then he shouts, "Top up."
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
whole way that he's speaking, his accent, his phrasing, his enunciation, it sounds so much like Henry to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have Henry saying old boy to Whitney on the plane and then here. So it's just like,
Mhm.
Henry is mimicking his uncle's
Right.
way of speaking. And
Well, I'm sure it's what they've called him. I'm sure it's what he's been called that a million times by his superiors. So that's how he knows to be a superior over someone else. So I think that's why he uses it with Whitney.
Yeah. Oh, we skipped a quick scene because we were talking about those two scenes together, where Harper gets to Paris and runs into a seemingly very not depressed Yaz with Haley in tow. Quabbin has summed it up well. I wish I was going through a tough time. Yaz is like a lot in this scene, and it's the first time Quabbin has ever met her, so not a great first impression, I think.
true. He has a lot of commentary about her later that is very,
On point.
yeah, just, he's, like Harper kind of says, he's seeing her in this moment without the context.
Yeah. Judgmental.
Yeah, he doesn't know her at all, but he knows her by reputation from things he's heard.
Right. And he's not really wrong.
No.
Not really. I thought it was on point as well, as like Ali said.
She was a lot, though. I mean, I was like, this is a nauseating scene of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's just like over the top.
Babe, it's Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way Haley walks in carrying like 15 shopping bags
15
behind her,
bags,
just like,
Doesn't say anything. She doesn't introduce Haley to them at all. I think
No.
she's just there
No.
and just smiles and walks on.
part of her entourage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was annoying in that.
The Quabbin line was the thing I was going to say. So you said it, Kate. That was, I thought that was really
It was
funny.
a good line.
Yeah.
I liked it too.
But I did think it was kind of funny that he said it because it's like, he just made $2 million, but okay.
Yeah.
Wish I was going through a tough time. Well, you and your 2 million can go through whatever kind of time you want.
Right?
Yeah.
Good point. And then we see Haley and Yaz shopping some more in Paris. Shopping for Haley, of course. She's getting what she wanted out of this deal. Not just the access to the wealthy, but it looks like she's being treated to a whole new wardrobe to go with it. And her little cousin is along for the ride, too. Gross. Anyway, it seems like Haley's pretty fully in charge here in this relationship. Yaz hesitantly asks about the tapes again, which Haley is purposefully cagey about. First joking about masturbating to them, and then laughing at Yaz's horror and saying there is no tape. Though my impression is that there clearly is.
I agree.
I mean, that seemed pretty obvious
Yeah.
before. The fact that Yaz even had to ask again, I'm like, babe, you know the truth.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And there's no point in asking. Like, even if she gave it to her, they obviously have copies, you know?
Right.
I think Kate said it too. Haley's the one controlling this situation. And that's probably how she's keeping control, is the vagueness over whether or not this tape exists. But if she needs it, she's most likely definitely got it.
Yep.
Yeah. The little cousin stuff,
Ugh.
man.
Yeah, the fact that Yaz mentioned that, it just,
Ugh.
like, she knows. Now I'm like, is the cousin really that age, or
Right.
were they just telling him that? Or
Right.
the fact that Yaz is so comfortable with, like, the exploitation
Mm.
just is so disturbing.
It would be a lot like when Eric got the video, they showed him a picture of her passport. That would be a lot to doctor up just to, if it were fake.
Yeah, there were some lines later, which we'll get to when we get to that scene. Maybe we should talk about it then. But like, there were some
Mhm.
lines in the scene between Yaz and Harper that did make it a little bit. It made me question it more.
Mhm.
Because she lied, you mean, about Eric knowing the age?
Or she doesn't know.
Well, because Yaz said girls lie about their age, men like it. He thought he was having sex with a 15-year-old girl. Okay, he's sick. So I'm like, first of all, yeah, like, I think that's what you were trying to say, Kate, is that he didn't know that at the time. Still incredibly fucked up. She looks very young. You should be more concerned about that and shouldn't be with a person who looks that young. Anyway,
Yeah. He's horrible. It's not okay. But
lots of horrible things. But also,
why did she say he knew she was 15 when that's not the case? You don't have to say that. It's all
Yeah.
horrible enough as is. Why lie to your friend about that? So yeah.
He knew she was young, but I think, he could have bought that she was 18, maybe.
I do like to think that he thought that. I mean, it's still.
I assumed he thought that. That's my assumption, is he thought she was at least 18.
Yeah.
he seemed horrified enough in private,
Right.
seeing the passport, to be like, okay, he didn't know that. But the lying about their age thing confused me, because I was like, is she saying that she lied about her age, that she said she was 18 and she's actually 15? Because the way that he said, like, he thought he was having sex with a 15-year-old girl right after she says she was lying. I'm like, well, which is it? Are you saying that she told him she was 15 and he went with it? Or are you saying, you know what I'm saying? Am I making sense?
But I have a lot of questions about Yaz in that scene where, how does she even get that video?
Yeah.
The cousin also would have had the information of how old Eric thought she was.
Yeah.
Kwabena is looking at the invitation for tonight's dinner, rightfully questioning what the fuck a necessary discussion on realignment means, before he tells Harper what he's actually heard about Yaz. And it's not nice, or that she's not nice. A sadist even, which I can see at this point. Harper's very defensive of her only friend, and Kwabena decides to bail on the dinner altogether. What a fantastic decision, sir. Unfortunately for Harper, she did not bail on the dinner, and for some inconceivable reason, Yaz has seated her with the Nazis. Moritz and his mom Joanna, the ones with Adolf Hitler's art hanging in their most important room. Moritz asked how she was so right about Tender, and Harper asked them why they don't have hard feelings after losing in that deal. It seems that they're just so enamored with Stefanovic, they're thrilled to be here. And they proceed with the most unconcealed racist propaganda I have ever heard at a dinner table, all directed straight at Harper. Joanna apparently truly believes Harper is a Stefanovic donor and supporter, and seems willing to accept her money at least, and tells herself she's an outlier, not like the other ones, which Harper is about to attack when Stefanovic calls for a toast to family traditions and fair nations. When Harper is finally able to exchange words with Yaz after dinner, Stefanovic is taking his leave and awkwardly fumbles over his words at the same time Haley appears to be leaving. Before departing, he tells Harper he doesn't just want her money, he wants her ideas to help devise a new operating system for the world. And she bluntly tells him the ideas she heard at dinner were too extreme for her tastes. He apologizes that he can't police people's ideas.
Joanna saying, "You're not like the other ones," to Harper.
Mhm.
Holy shit.
Yeah, what was that supposed to mean?
The other
Black
black
Other
people?
black people.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was
Straight up
really
racist.
that straight up. Okay, I was also like it was a little jarring to see them again.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like, wow, okay, this is what Stefanovic is all about. Because he was so, he's kind of an enigma
Right.
in the previous scene.
And also, this was a connection Yaz made, right? Because she stayed back with them in that episode where they went to
Yeah.
their place. And so she's just pulling all of her people in from everywhere, and they're in her pocket now.
And doesn't care. And she clocked the Nazi tie.
No, she knows.
Yeah.
But at the time, she did look shocked, right?
She
She
did.
looked like
That's
it
true.
affected her, and yet she's easily able to get over.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what I think about her anymore. Just like psychopath or like sociopath. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think whenever anything hits her, like she kind of says later that she just hardens against everything, right?
Yeah.
So when something hits her that's like, ooh, I feel a way about this, I feel uncertain about this, then she just pushes it down and goes forward with whatever is best for her agenda in that moment.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad what she's became.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because so she divorced Henry, but she still seems to have a connection with Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
She was quick to correct when somebody called her Lady Musk or
Yeah,
whatever the next
I was
day.
just thinking about that, is that she's no longer going under Muck. She's not Lady Muck anymore. She's
Yeah.
going back to her maiden name.
But she buddied up with Alexander pretty hard over this whole season, right? So,
Mhm.
but it is strange that she's still so intertwined with his family.
Well, they both kind of agreed to turn on Henry.
Yeah.
So I feel like, he knew. I mean, he was like, how's your relationship? And she basically told him it was terrible.
Yeah.
So is Alexander helping her stay afloat now that she's not married to Henry? Because before she married Henry, she had nothing. Like she'd lost everything.
Yeah, I feel like she probably did, like, even though Henry's cash was all tied up in Tinder, that's liquid cash, right? Like, I feel like there was still, I'm sure that she got some kind of payout from the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, Alexander has seemed to really like her and been on her side this season. So it seems like he's given her this job. I don't know. I don't really understand what her job is, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
it seems a little bit vague. She's a consultant for him, I guess.
I don't
I
know.
don't
But
know.
why is Alexander? I mean, he's got the tabloid, but what else is he doing with the political stuff? I don't really quite follow that. Because the office that they're in when they meet with Sebastian, that's not the place where the tabloid
Paper
paper
office?
is.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's like a
wondered.
different place. It's like a fancier place. So I don't know. They've partnered up in some way
Right.
together, right? It seems like that.
Seems like it.
So Harper with Sebastian in this scene seems like a bookend or a parallel to her meeting Whitney in the first episode because they're both at networking parties that Yaz threw. And she kind of says that, like, I could meet the next Whitney at her party.
Right.
Mhm.
And now with Sebastian, I feel like the setup is almost that could be the new Whitney because he's asking her to get involved with his business, with his OS.
Mhm.
Obviously, she's feeling a lot more conflicted about that as the episode goes on, but I liked that bookend feeling of this scene being another networking party where she's trying to meet people and she's presented with this person that could maybe be a similar takedown in some way.
Mm.
But I like that you're seeing Harper in a similar situation, but with growth now, because she's analyzing this differently.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's not the same exact situation, but she's analyzing the whole situation differently than she was at the beginning of the season.
Agreed. Finally, actually speaking alone together, Harper ponders how these foreign nationals are able to donate to Stepanovich's campaign, as that's illegal. Yaz is definitely not concerned about that, as that's nothing compared to what's going to be revealed next. First, Harper asks why she's doing this, supporting him, throwing a fundraiser for this extremist. She seems to be holding out hope that Yaz does not truly understand what these people are about, but she's going to be disappointed. Yaz insists this gives her joy and that these people are for actual change she can get behind. Harper does then call her out on sitting her next to the Nazis tonight, right before Haley's little cousin Dolly comes in, along with a lot of other young women. Harper wants to know what the fuck is up with this new part of the evening, and Yaz defends her brothel, insisting these women had nothing, and she's giving them purpose and money. Haley's word, access. Harper, perhaps naively, again, tells Yaz that that is not her voice coming out of her mouth. And Yaz decides this would be a good time to show her the Eric video, the video they used to blackmail him out of Stern Tao, the video of him getting a blowjob from a 14-year-old who is currently in this very room, and the early stages of doing it to someone else later, probably. Harper was very much unprepared for this video out of the blue, and Yaz tells her Eric thought that the girl was 15. Harper immediately zeroes in on the current problem, though. What is she doing here? Yaz knows she's 14 fucking years old, and she brought her here to these horrible men. Yaz seems to feel no guilt. That 14-year-old wants to be here. The world is not exploitation or opportunity. It's both and. The title of the episode. Harper also realizes that this is why Eric left the way he did, because he was framed and filmed and fucked. Again, his fault, but Harper can now see that that's what Yaz is doing here. Now, the same thing with all these men. Harper desperately begs her not to do this, to not be the person that she's seemingly chosen to be, and to leave with her, but Yaz has made up her mind and refuses to leave. She finally feels necessary. Ugh, who else is going to rent out these children to disgusting old men? It is the saddest fucking turn. I hate it. She kisses Harper's hand, and Harper turns to leave, but first trying to convince Dolly to leave, also to no success. And this is like a really weird seg, but I really love Harper's dress.
I do too.
Yeah, I noticed.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's always stunning, especially all season.
Yeah.
Her costumes have been amazing.
Mhm.
But once again, a standout.
I would be tripping over those, whatever
Me
those
too.
tassel things are that are
Yeah.
hanging down the sides.
I don't think I could handle it myself, but she pulls it off.
It's so
Yeah.
elegant and beautiful on her, though. Yeah, perfect.
And it was black, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's sort of like, I don't know, symbolizing something.
She dressed in black also in the first fundraising party when she met Whitney.
Interesting.
I love that dress too.
Yeah. I just have to say, this new part of the evening in your thing you just said,
I literally didn't know what to say. So.
Harper's shocked about this new part of the evening or whatever. Like, perfect phrasing.
I spent a moment trying to figure out different phrasing and gave up.
I'm glad I was muted because I laughed aloud when you said that. It was perfect. I don't think we say enough about how great Kate's summaries are. That's all.
I admire her for it.
You are really good with summaries. Like
Mhm.
it's always blowing my mind. Um, yeah, this whole scene just gave me absolute chills. Like watching her say the line, "I'm necessary, I feel new, I feel less pain." That was just like
Yeah.
Mm.
I just couldn't see any humanity in her at that point. I was just
Mm-mm.
No.
yeah, great acting.
So at the end of the last episode, Yaz was telling to Harper, before they go clubbing, where how much she admires Harper for how smart and strong she is, and Yaz says that she's too soft. And then maybe what we're seeing now is Yaz trying to harden her outer shell.
Mhm.
And maybe it's all because what's spinning off of her being fooled by Whitney, and she's trying to set herself up or protect herself so she doesn't get fooled again by someone like Whitney.
Well, and she's also using his techniques because
Yeah.
she hired Haley.
She's becoming him and a combination of someone even more disgusting, possibly
Jeffrey Epstein.
her father.
Somebody mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did because I feel like this is just a direct parallel of this whole Epstein, and she's taking this place of, first of all, I mean, how does she even get this video of Eric? I was trying to figure that out. Back when we had the scene between Haley and Whitney, when it comes out that Whitney was behind the video that was sent to Eric, that was taken of Eric, because they knew about that.
Right, but Dolly took the video because she was the one in the room.
Okay.
So she can use it for whatever she wants at this point.
Okay.
I think that Dolly is just able to use this and tell people whatever narrative she wants about why she has it.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I'm believing, along with Ali, I'm believing that Eric, he knew she was young. I don't think he knew she was that young. And he seemed genuinely horrified and shocked when he saw how old she was.
Yes, which, like Kate said, is still incredibly fucked up because look at her. She
It is
looks
fucked up.
very young.
It is fucked up. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't great anyway. I mean, we were all grossed out by it anyway, but
Yaz is lying about the fact that he knew that, I think, because we saw him find that out.
well, either she's lying or the cousin was lying when she gave Yaz the video and told her the
Yes, true.
narrative behind it, like you said, that she can shape the narrative on it. So maybe Yaz believes that Eric knew that she was underage, and that's what she's telling
True.
Harper, that it's even worse. This man is even worse than you thought because he did this and he knew the whole time that she was this 14-year-old girl.
Right. It's weird to me, though, when Harper is like, she says to Yaz, "You're going to record all these men? Why?" And I'm like, Harper, I don't think you're this naive. Like, you understand that she's doing this so she can have all this blackmail. Yeah.
Control.
Yeah, control. She can get them to do what she wants if she's got these videos of them with this young girl or with any of these women.
It feels like she's running like a brothel or something.
For sure.
It just feels
Yeah.
very dark and disturbing.
And she's trying to say like they're consenting. They want to. It's their choice. Like,
Okay. I mean, they like having the access, I guess, but
I mean, Haley is a grown woman, right? She's
Yeah.
of age, and she is making this choice because she gave herself to Yaz, saying, you know, I want the access.
Yeah.
She is actually getting, I think, what she wants out of this, but at the same time, I do think she isn't the one in control between her and Yaz. And I still think she has that video that she can hold over Yaz if Yaz ever tries to try anything.
Yeah, she has that for sure.
She has to have
You can
that.
tell. Yeah. I do think it's weird how Haley is so okay with her 15-year-old cousin being here.
Yes.
Because in the scene with Whitney, she was like, she's a girl.
She's a girl,
like,
right.
why did you make her do this?
Yeah, and Whitney was the one who was being dismissive of the fact, like, you know, what you said about your cousin, you know what she was, which is so gross.
Mhm.
Like, she's a girl. Like, she's acknowledging in that moment that she's a child, but she's still pimping her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Haley is basically mini Yaz here. She's going along with whatever Yaz wants and aligning her morals to that kind of. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Haley's such an interesting character. I feel like we could dissect that all day.
Yeah, it definitely looks like she's set up to come on to season 5. So I hope we learn more about her and see what else she's got up her sleeve.
Yeah.
So Yaz saying the world is not exploitation or opportunity, it's both and. Both and, that's maturity. I didn't really get the leap to maturity.
I think she's just saying because even though this girl is 15, even though I was 14 when I was
When she lost her virginity.
like, maturity is when you choose to take control. That's what it sounded like she was saying,
Mhm.
which is twisted and
Yeah.
sick and
Horrible.
Yeah.
traumatic for her and everything else. All the things.
I got the sense that Harper was doing her best to be a good friend to Yaz here. Did you guys feel that way?
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I felt like that this whole season.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like something earlier in the season, maybe. No, you're right. I felt that way because I felt that way in the beginning too. When she was like, "Why are you doing all this with like Henry's
Yeah.
house and life?"
Yeah, and Yaz kind of jumped all over her then too, even though
Right.
I think we kind of were. I wasn't on that episode, but I think it was the consensus was she wasn't really saying anything
Yeah.
against her or that was that bad.
Right. No, Harper's been good friend this season.
Yeah. And being able to tell her, that voice was not your voice. Like whatever just came out of your mouth is not who you are. And that was literally like she sounded different. Like her voice was deeper. Like
Yeah.
she sounded like she was possessed by somebody. It was creepy.
Yeah.
I think it's a progression that is not out of left field
Mm-mm.
for Yaz because of everything that we've seen happen with her, but it is the darkest possible timeline for where Yaz could end up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's choosing to be her father now.
Yeah. She keeps sinking and she keeps getting darker. Like all the way back in season 1, the way she was being with Robert, she was toying with him for her own entertainment or her own kinks.
Mhm.
And I think she always knew it was never really going to go anywhere. And Robert was kind of held in this state of limbo, like, hoping
Mhm.
in this state of hope that things were going to progress with her, which they never did. And I think he wises up season 2 and beyond to a point, but that's how she is with people. And the reason I thought back then that she was never going to progress with Robert was a class thing. Like she would always see him as beneath her because she came from this elite status and he came from a lower status. And I think she was always going to be just like, I like this guy. He's cute and I want to toy with him, but I would never actually be in a relationship with him.
The show has a lot of commentary on that, so I definitely think that was part of it for sure.
Yeah.
And Kwabena kind of says that about Yaz, like she's a sadist, like my friends at school knew her, like.
And that's pre-Pure Point, like before we saw her, before we met her.
Right. To go in a very different we're going to tonal shift on the podcast. I did find 2 things kind of funny. Just the way that Yasmin delivered them. The context is not funny at all, but when she's showing Harper the video of Eric and she says, "That's his arse."
That was funny.
Good delivery. And then when she says, "Cock heavy parties are always dead." Good phrasing. Funny phrasing. Yeah.
And I think, Kate, you mentioned this, I think, in your summary, but just the hypocrisy between Yaz bringing out this video of Eric and what a beast he is, doing this knowingly with an underage girl.
Yeah.
And then she is literally pimping out this underage girl. But in her mind, she's like, but it's her choice. I'm giving her this access. And it's just so gross and hypocritical. And she's not even, either she doesn't see it or she chooses not to see it or she doesn't care.
Mm.
I do wonder why she brought Harper to this party. Like, I know the reasons that we're supposed to know, like the investment or, getting Harper's expertise because she just had this big win and they have history together. But like, how did Yaz not realize how poorly this would go? Like, even taking aside the point of Harper being morally conflicted about what's going on, like putting that aside even.
Yeah.
What was her end game here? What did she actually expect to happen?
I feel like it was malicious and I'm not sure why or what. But it also made me think of, in the previous episode when she's like, when are you going to take care of me, Yaz? You know what I mean? Like that made this scene even sadder to me because she's doing the polar opposite and putting her in an unsafe position.
Yeah.
I mean, uncomfortable, but also genuinely unsafe.
Yeah.
And it just really made me hate her. But I don't know why she would invite her here.
Yeah, because even the seating arrangement, like Harper calls her out on that and she acts naive about it. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, mean to.
Yes.
Right.
But that was weird. She knew.
How could she not?
That felt fake to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Because she's not that stupid. Like, Yaz is smart.
Maybe it's just her, like, coming back from the last episode when, Harper admits, yes, I feel like up here and you down here. And she's just trying to reverse that and make her feel.
She wants Harper to see that she's on top, kind of.
Yeah, and put her in a position where she's the not outlier, but where she's made to feel inferior. I don't think it's succeeding, but like these people are trying to make her feel inferior.
They have such a complicated, toxic relationship.
It's so weird. Yeah.
But it's so compelling, and just analyzing it really makes you think. Like, there are so many different ways to read it, none of which I think is definitively correct.
Right. No, I never know.
Yeah.
Such a complicated relationship.
Right.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that I'm not sure if I believe Yasmin has affection for anyone. I mean, it's hard to even, I think the actress herself, that I was just watching a video where I think she was talking about that, where like she loves as much as she is capable of, maybe. And like when Harper says, Yasmin, if you have cared at all about me ever, you will take my fucking hand. And actually, I had a parallel that I wanted to bring up here because I feel like Yasmin has two breakup scenes in this episode, both with Henry and with Harper. And in both, she begins it with a moment of, or an expression of tenderness, and then she follows up with the words that are like, hurtful or contrary to the tenderness that she's showing, because she does take her hand, and Harper's thinking it as, she's ready to go. Let's get out of here. But she says, I'm sorry. Then she says the things that Allie brought up. I'm necessary. I feel new. I feel less pain. That's it. Yaz kisses her hands. And these are all these affectionate things. And when she was in her breakup scene with Henry, she takes his face and she kisses his forehead. And then she hugs him and says, I don't love you anymore. And the moments that we already talked about where he says, you can't leave me like this. And she again takes his face and says, oh, like, of course I can. It's like moments where it's almost tender. And then she's like, it's a biting words or hurtful words that come after that.
Yeah.
And I felt like there were parallels between the Henry scene and the Harper scene like that.
Mm-hmm. There were also a lot of really good handheld shots in this scene. I noticed it more in this whole episode, actually, just kind of unsettling, slightly shaky shots on people just staring, reacting to something. Like there was a segment of that with Jenny too in the scene with the PM's guy.
So when you say handheld, you mean the camera?
Yes. Yeah, the camera seemed like handheld because
I've been noticing that all season. Like there's been so many shots that just are obviously handheld and are just that tiny bit shaky.
Yeah, it really adds a lot of unsettling vibes to the scene. But I don't know why I noticed it so much in this one specifically, because I think it was more, I'd have to go back and watch to compare, but I feel like it was more on shots that would traditionally be more stationary, like just on someone staring at someone else or them silently reacting to something. There's just this like shakiness to it. It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Really like that.
And whether you notice it or not, I think the audience feels it.
For sure.
They can feel that, like you just said, the disruptive, that uneasiness of the moment, the character, what they're going through.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Exactly, yeah.
Harper goes back to their hotel room and just lays on the bed until Kwabena comes in to break up with her. Sort of. He kissed someone tonight and doesn't feel guilty. He felt great, actually. And then he brings up the sweet pea thing and how Harper never said a word about it to him. He tells her she feels like AI, not a real person. It's like they're intimate with no intimacy, which we've said before about this show. There's so much sex in this show, but it all feels exactly like that. Intimate with no intimacy.
Yes, definitely.
That was perfectly summed up. Harper hasn't told Kwabena about her mom yet, so she does now, and then admits that recently she's learned that everyone in her life is someone she thought they weren't, and that she doesn't know how to be in a relationship. She's on her knees on the floor in front of him, which is unusually vulnerable for her. And then they get down to the root of the problem. Kwabena says protecting yourself at the cost of everything else is too high a price. But for Harper, it's not. She'd just rather not enjoy intimacy than risk getting hurt.
I really love this scene between them. I feel like Harper is being, like you said, vulnerable, and Kwabena is so good here too. Like just his acting. Toheeb Jamo really nailed this scene.
Yeah.
And I think everything she's saying, like the final dialogue between them where she says, I just want to protect myself. And he says, not at the cost of everything else, Harper. That's too high a price. And then she says, no, it's not for me. Like, that's just such a good nutshell of her whole character, in my opinion. And I think that was a nice moment of reflection for her and intimacy between them, for her to admit that to him.
Yeah.
It was nice to see her be vulnerable.
Yeah.
They're both being really honest. And I like that Kwabena is pretty much showing up to this conversation saying, this isn't working for me. Like he's just starting at that, and it goes from there. But I think I don't know that it was a moment of Harper giving an excuse for why she never brought up what happened between him and Sweet Pea, because it bothered him that she never brought it up. Like, does this not bother you? Yada yada.
Which actually made so much sense now to me because we were talking about that in that episode of like, is she upset? Or like, I was wondering, is she upset that he hasn't mentioned it? But it's like, no, actually, the fact that she's not mentioned it is actually more hurtful to him.
Yeah. And I think it's also maybe protecting herself.
Yeah.
Just to not open that conversation.
Right. She likes keeping this as she says, a casual fuck. She doesn't know how to progress to the next stage of the relationship.
Even though she told Sweet Pea in that scene that it was casual, it didn't, like, she looked bothered. Yeah, like her emotions were on her face. And I think it probably surprised her how much it bothered her because she had been seeing it more like a casual thing, and that's how all of her relationships tend to be.
Yeah, crossing that line between casual and real relationship, it's probably very,
scary.
very difficult for her because it is scary, yeah.
Yeah, and she told him, I don't know how to do this. And I liked the comparison she made to, I don't know how to water it for it to nurture it or something like that.
Yeah, to make it last. Yeah.
Yeah, to make it last.
Which is actually reminding me too of what she said to Whitney in episode 2, where she's asking him. No, it's at the party where she's like, how do you make a long-term relationship last? Which at the time was kind of a hilarious thing to say because he had just gotten rid of Jonah.
Right.
But it does seem like she was seeking some kind of truth there now that you see that she's reflecting that in this episode too. Like, I don't know how to do that. I'm actually looking for advice. I want someone to tell me how to do it. And she says, I want a manual.
Yeah. So they're being really transparent with each other. And I think it's a really nice moment for them.
Henry's walking out of the courthouse after pleading guilty and pauses to address the press, clearly state that Whitney was the only person responsible for what happened. Ginny Bevan is looking on in the hopes he's going to announce the Russia ties they were looking into. And while he does hesitate, probably considering it, he listens to Otto's advice, preferring to remain alive. Bevan is visibly disappointed. Molly stops in to thank Yaz for the opportunity. Ugh. Wait, no, Dolly. Yeah, Dolly?
No, Molly.
No, it's Molly.
Why do they do this? Why?
It's really annoying.
This was Molly, who was from
the household.
Norton's household.
She worked there with the curtains, and she was at the bar, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't put that together, but yes, that is right.
Okay.
Molly, that Molly. Good call. Stops in to thank Yaz for the quote-unquote opportunity, followed by Haley. I like Haley's skirt. Anyway, she's off on another shopping spree for tonight's dinner, and Yaz asks her to close the doors on her way out so she can play her dad's voicemail inviting her on the final boat trip. She really has become Ghislaine Maxwell. He even named a boat after her. She plays the voicemail over the speakers next time and the next time as she lays on the ground crying. And man, I don't know what to say about any of that. It's very sad, but so fucked up. She's choosing to embrace that life.
Yeah.
Marisa absolutely kills this scene, I feel like, because there were so many layers that you can see in that trauma that she has. Just the way she's going through it. Like, I don't feel like there's any one way to describe what she was feeling there. It just seemed so complicated, and she really put everything into that scene.
Agreed.
I thought that was very well done.
How do you read the purpose for why she's doing that? Because I was thinking she's forcing herself to listen to this as a way to harden herself more. And also, is she really trying to become more like her father?
I don't think it's an intentional choice that she's making, but I think that that's probably the last recording she has of him, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but I didn't get the sense that this was sentimental for her.
No, but it's like she's, I guess, reflecting back on everything, her life with him, what maybe he did to her. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely relevant to where she is now and what she's doing. And I think that that's fresh in her mind. And she saved his voicemail. So it's not like this is the first time she's probably listened to it. But
I guess I just thought that she's using this as a tool as she's trying to get a tougher skin, like hardening herself like she did in her scene with Harper.
I kind of feel like because she tells Haley to close the doors, which, by the way, that shot of her through the paned glass doors was really great, I thought, where it just shows her in the single pane.
Yeah.
Very isolating.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
But I just felt like this is her private moment of actually coming out of the way that she's hardened herself. I felt. Maybe I don't know, I could be misreading that, but it's like I'm gonna go like dig the knife in deeper, but privately, and then walk out hardened again. I don't know.
I don't know.
She was like mourning a little bit in a weird way and also like dissecting or analyzing what he was saying because I feel like she is morphing into him.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting too was when Molly was in there and she gives her that quote in French, which she then translates, and she says, "She is tossed by the waves, but she does not sink." I thought that was an interesting quote given how her father died and the part she played in that. And then kind of I connected that to what she does next with the voicemail.
That makes sense too, for sure. Okay, but what the fuck was the no men, obviously, in the voicemail?
Yeah, creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wanted females. He wanted her to bring her hot friends so he can flirt or God only knows.
Oh, that's so gross.
Really gross.
I can't. Henry comes to his uncle and embraces him, sinking to his knees, apologizing profusely until his uncle pulls him back up. And we next see him to the tune of his favorite song. What is the name of that song? Is it just He Is an Englishman?
I think so. It's from the musical HMS Pinafore.
Ah, good call. That's Gilbert and Sullivan, right? Pirates of Penzance was like, it owned my life from like age 12 to age 17.
You don't like musicals, right?
I don't, which is so weird. I pretty much Moulin Rouge is my favorite movie, Curveball, and was really into Pirates of Penzance to a hilarious degree that I make fun of personally.
Well, it's funny. I saw it once in Sydney when we were on our honeymoon and we left at intermission. I'm sorry to break this to you.
You got to see it with Kevin Kline, otherwise what's the point? You know? I did think it was interesting though because Melissa said something about that song being the song that Yasmin's dad was singing when he jumped.
Right.
And then it played again when they're in the boat. And obviously Henry was singing in the shower and just there's something going on there.
It's had a theme.
Well, I think HMS Pinafore is a boat or is a ship. Maybe that's the connection. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I think that, he was scared that taking the medication would remove all the like happiness from his life.
And make him fat.
Yes, and he doesn't look fat. He looks great, but he's very happy after he takes the lithium. So,
and my read on the fish at the very end is like he finally gets a win after so many failures. Like something finally went his way.
He just had to scale down a bit.
Yeah. Nice wholesome moment. He's just fishing with his family.
In a Gucci hat, just chilling.
On house arrest on a lake.
Yeah, he's got the ankle bracelet.
I felt like this whole scene was so childlike again, though, because his expressions, the fact that he's in shorts and sticks his leg up on the side of the boat to like show off the shorts. And just the way he reacts when he catches the fish and the uncles have to jump in and help him. Like he's, oh, the bloody thing's jammed. And like Otto comes over. Here, I'll fix it for you, baby. Like
right. Around his. Yeah. Very childlike.
With Henry going to Alexander and hugging him. Henry looks like such a little boy in that shot too, where he's hugging him. I feel like Kit did a great job physically because he's sagging his body against his uncle. Yeah. Like bending his knees and kind of trying to look small.
Yeah.
I really liked the way that he did that physically.
Yeah, he did awesome. And then the episode ends with Harper telling her tale about Tinder to an interviewer, and she actually credits her team, to which he replies that's not what he's heard about her, but she says people change. When he asks if being so right when everyone else was so wrong, does it feel like vindication or does it feel lonely? She answers both and.
After that, the woman comes and asks her if she wants another gin and tonic.
And what does she say?
She doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
The woman is just like, are you done?
Yeah, are you done?
She just looks and then it's a nice ending.
Right.
Nice, like, ambiguous. Is she gonna keep doing what she's been doing or have some kind of change here?
Yeah.
I loved how she glances to her right when she says that she had a team of people who she cared about, and later we see that she's looking at Kwabena. Thought that was cute.
I just wanted to say I loved the little flash of Whitney. That was really cool through the glory hole.
I know.
Yeah, and that was the final, obviously the actual final shot.
The fact that it was actually through a glory hole is crazy to me because like I think it was Mickey and Conrad that confirmed that in an interview, right?
Yeah.
They were like, oh,
Yeah.
there was a whole scene that they shot in Lithuania was it in Lithuania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept thinking like, in the episode where Ferdinand tells him, you can't run, we'll find you, there's nowhere you can hide.
Yeah.
So that felt very much like someone's watching you, even though it was through a glory hole.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you don't know what it's through, but it's just, I don't know. There was something about that of
You
like,
don't know who's on the other side.
right. I don't know. I like the ambiguity of it and mysteriousness. And I hope they bring him back, and I hope they bring everybody back.
Yeah, I mean, the little flash at the end it was very much like subliminal Whitney, just like this
Yeah.
little it just like
Right.
comes and goes really fast and it's red, so you don't know what it is. And it was very hard backing up trying to get right on that frame to see what it was.
Right, because I saw it when we were watching it the first time. I saw like a weird blip.
Like a flash.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I thought it was just some internet issue or
Yeah.
something. And then when you told us, no, there's an actual frame there of him, I was like, all right, let me back up and see if I can get. And then it took me like 7 tries to get on the shot.
I know. It was really hard. Anyway, I'm really glad that Whitney is presumed alive. He's out there somewhere. I feel like there's so much more they could do with his character. I don't know what, but I think they're clever enough to figure something out. And they've left it open enough where they could bring him back in somehow to stir things up, or maybe he gets caught.
This is the thing to me with this whole show, is that I like how they can end a season. You have absolutely no idea what they could or will do with the next season. And they somehow manage to create this whole new thing that you become super invested in. Like, this whole season was so different from the previous seasons, as we've said.
Yeah.
And yet they nailed it. Like, everything about it was perfectly
Totally worked.
executed. It was written brilliantly. I was invested the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And what they brought so much new energy to it, and it really heightened it for me. I loved Whitney's character, even though he was such a, we caught his shadiness from the very beginning, and it was just sort of fascinating the way it all unfolded. There's still questions left looming that I think could be brought back and somehow, let's learn more about it.
Yeah, whatever they want to do, I trust it, because I feel like they can craft an arc for a season that is just fascinating. So I'm looking forward to that.
I kind of see Henry as less likely of coming back, and I think that was maybe a good ending for him.
Yeah.
So I had some thoughts on parallels between Whitney and Harper at the very end. So Whitney built a house of cards business worth nothing, and Harper profited off of his loss. And now she has real wealth that Whitney wanted to have and wanted to make people believe he had. And Whitney and Harper are either incredibly similar people or are the inverse of each other. And this may also play into Harper being Whitney's dom when they hooked up. Like, I was kind of thinking more on that. Like, she came out on top in the very end. So I would love for that to be the purpose for that, and maybe the plan all along.
Yeah, there were a lot of good parallels between the finale and the first episode of the season.
I also had a thought about what the interviewer says to Harper on the plane. Does being so uniquely right when everyone was so totally wrong feel like vindication, or does it ultimately make you feel very alone? And her response being both. And I like to think that she added that in her interview as a message to Yaz, who will probably read it. Maybe that Harper's door is still open if Yaz wants to reach out. They always seem to like crash and then come back together somehow. So I don't know. This may be too far gone. Just depends on Yaz, I think.
Yeah, but every time anything happens between them, you think it's too far gone, and then they're just like, "Hey, you want to come to my wedding? You want to come hang out?"
Exactly. So it's almost never too far gone.
Why was the interviewer even on that plane? Is that just a thing that happens? Like, you just get press people to be interviewing you on flights, or
I think sometimes when you become really wealthy and important, time is an issue. So it's like, oh, I have some time on this plane to so and so.
Right.
So
do you want to just hop on my PJ and like, let's talk about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think it gives you that kind of power.
Harper said one line that hit me a little, where she said, "Hope is more profitable than truth." I haven't unpacked that at all.
There's just too many great lines in this show to unpack them all. I feel like you could spend days on each episode if you were giving it its due attention.
Yeah, it will make a rewatch satisfying.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just going to say, I really love this season, and I'm really looking forward to rewatching it and discovering new little things that maybe I missed the first time.
Yep.
All right, I guess that's a wrap on our discussion of season 4 of Industry. Yeah, it's been a fantastic season. Come back soon for the next show we will be doing, which we will announce shortly. Thanks for listening. Bye.